You would be shocked to know that vomiting while sleep training is more common than you expect. It is one of the biggest reasons, aside from crying, why parents choose not to sleep train their child, because duh, I don't have to go into reasons why. However, I have worked with my fair share of families who do have children who vomit as a result of behavioral sleep training, who have been successful and now are independent sleepers, and I'd love to teach you how to do the same. Hi, my name is Sarah, and as the lead certified pediatric sleep expert at Yours and Baby Sleep, I have worked with over 500 families one-on-one and thousands of families in my group training programs to get them to sleep well. And yes, I've had a fair share of vomiters. Let's get right into how I've managed them and tips for you if you are sleep training your baby and they tend to vomit. This is a really hard topic and it's super aversive, right? Because crying is one thing, painful, and something we don't want to listen to, we don't want to put our baby through, even when we do have supportive methods such as chair method or time checks or even pick up, put down. Nobody dreams of being a parent and saying, yay, I'm so ready to sleep train. But then when you add the layer of vomiting to the crying, gosh, it makes it so much harder. And this is when parents really feel hopeless and just want to give up because they think that their sleep is a lost cause and their child cannot be helped. Promise you they can be helped, and I'm going to give you some really actionable steps to work on while you are sleep training your child if they are prone to vomiting. Let's lay a little groundwork. I want to make sure that you have a plan before we do anything else. So make sure that you pick a method that your child is going to learn well being taught, that you feel good about teaching, and that you can be consistent with for at least 1 or 2 weeks while we are sleep training. This is super important. And then I'm going to niche down to talk about your specific troubleshooting for the vomiting when you are implementing this plan that you have already established. First of all, the reason for the vomiting is because our children, especially if they are younger, their gag reflex is actually higher up in their anatomy in their throat. So it's more sensitive. It's the reason why our babies are able to learn how to eat solid foods without swallowing and choking as often. Gagging is different than choking. However, if your baby or toddler has a really sensitive gag reflex, or if they've realized that vomiting gets your attention, we can see more instances of this, especially if their belly is fuller. So my first tip is to make sure that we are really putting enough space in between the end of the last meal and bedtime. This will vary a little bit based on your child's age and if they're taking bottles or if they're just doing solid foods. So for babies, generally I recommend your feed end at least 30 minutes before you put them into their crib. You would do this at the beginning of the bedtime routine, even before the bath, so that all of the liquid gets down to their belly and mostly digested before we're putting them in their crib. For toddlers, I recommend a full hour. So once we are done with bottles or formula or breast milk, I want to make sure that all of those solids are really down and digested and aren't going to make their way up, having a better chance at not riling up their digestive system during the process of sleep training. We know that your baby's last meal was spaced out enough before you put them in their crib awake. We also know that you are well prepared with a method that's going to support them even through the crying. So the method should really make sure that you are supporting them in a way that reduces the amount of crying that you are going to experience, because crying can elicit a vomiting response. Realistic expectations are that your baby is going to cry with support from you, and it is possible that they may vomit. Let's walk through the process if they do, how you should respond, and what you should do following the vomiting behavior. If your baby ends up vomiting, I want you to respond right away, but in a very neutral manner. I don't want you to be upset, even though you very likely will be. I don't want you to be frazzled. I don't want you to be rushed. I want you to take a deep breath and walk in. Know that they're safe. You are right there. This is a body's natural reaction to the crying or to the upset, and you are going to support them and get them through this in a loving and caring way. We clean up everything. There is no way that I would ever want a baby or a toddler or whoever to sit in their vomit for any extended period of time, which is why we respond right away. Clean them up and obviously assess the situation, right? If it's just on the crib sheets, all we need to do is change the crib sheets. If it's actually on their PJs, we might be throwing them in the bath, whatever you feel comfortable with. We might want to offer a little bit of water just to help their throat feel a little bit better. It is uncomfortable when the acids come up, but hopefully because of the digestion, we don't really have much that has come up as a result of putting that space in between the last meal and bedtime. Then I want you to provide some comfort and some snuggles and some kisses and whatever you can to calm them down. But very shortly thereafter, put them back in their crib or their bed to continue the process. It is very unlikely at this point that they will vomit again. Usually it happens once and then we're all done. There have been 1 or 2 situations with children where I have seen a repeat instance of vomiting on the first night of sleep training, and generally after that we don't see it very much afterwards. So you continue the process by putting them in the crib or bed awake, and then you go back and continue your checks or continue to sit in the chair, whatever method you have chosen. And cross your fingers. What we can expect for the next couple nights is the vomiting might not happen again. If it does, maybe nights 2 or 3, and then we should see it resolve completely on its own. I want to know your questions about this because I know it's a pretty hard topic to discuss, and I know it can feel isolating when it seems like it's only your child who is vomiting during sleep training. So leave me a comment with your questions. I'd be happy to answer them. And also consider booking a call with me to learn about my one-on-one programs. This is exactly what I help support families through. My website is yourzenbabysleep.com. While you're on your way down there, hit the thumbs up to let me know that this content has been helpful, and make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you're the first to know when I publish my new sleep content. As always, from my living room to yours, thank you so much for joining me today, and I can't wait to see you next time.